Hello and welcome everyone. The Winter Dockyard event in update 0.10.11 is now live on all servers, where you can start building the brand new British battleship Marlborough at the Clydebank Dockyard, as well as obtaining two other ships, the Dreadnought and Repulse. Now this video does focus primarily on the Marlborough, but you can find a full review of the Repulse in the top right, which I do encourage you to check out, as it's a fantastic ship and can be obtained 100% for free during this Dockyard event. The Tier 9 British battleship Marlborough is based on a 1947 project, with some of the design solutions borrowed from both the Vanguard and the King George V class ships. Marlborough's primary attraction is her large number of main battery guns, consisting of 16 356mm, housed in 4 turrets. While the main artillery is not regarded as particularly accurate, this is definitely compensated by Marlborough's low detectability and numerous main battery guns that can fire quite rapidly and have a decent firing range. Simply throw enough mud at the wall and some of it will stick. Now, should you be interested in adding the Marlborough to your port, the absolute cheapest way is to buy one of the starter packs, costing 5,500 doubloons, which will complete 5 shipbuilding phases immediately, and then complete the remaining 27 of 32 phases by completing in-game missions throughout the entire duration of update 0.10.11 and during the first 3 weeks of update 0.11.0. Now, should you be on the fence and decide to wait and see and watch some more videos before making your mind up, you can simply continue and complete phases by playing in-game missions, for which you can still get the Dreadnought and Repulse 100% for free. You could grind out the full 27 phases by playing mission directives and then decide at the end, I think I'll get this ship, and you can complete the final 5 for doubloons, which will cost 5 times 1,500 dubs, which is 7,500. 2,000 dubs more expensive than using the starter pack option. You could, of course, complete the whole Dockyard on day 1 by completing with doubloons, but these two previous mentioned examples are the cheapest way to get this Tier 9 British battleship Marlborough. So, the burning question is, the Marlborough, is it worth it? Well, to answer this, we'll have to go through the ship's complete stats and have a closer look at its armour layout, its gun power, everything that makes potentially a good battleship. So I am using the Andrew Cunningham captain, and I'm using a straight up tank build. Nothing really out of the usual here. I am using gun feeder. Due to the very fast reload of 22 seconds, you can take advantages of anything trying to turn and quickly reload, but it's basically a tank build for this British battleship. Something very similar I would use on British battleships like the Thunderer and Conqueror, for example, so you can use this captain quite easily on the Marlborough. So let's move to the ship's armour layout. Now, contrary to popular belief that I've stated, I've seen a lot of places saying that the armour is quite weak on the Marlborough, but I would tend to disagree. You get a 4-end plating, upper and lower of 32mm. This is reinforced by having a submerged 4-end armour belt of 51mm, an additional strip under the front turret of 235, the upper casemate is 32, the main deck is 32mm, and again at the stern, both the upper and lower aft end deck plating is all 32mm. Again, further reinforced by having a submerged strip of 51mm, and again under the turret 235mm. The main Citadel armour belt is 381mm, both above and below the waterline, and there is a deeper submerged section of 261mm. So this is pretty standard fare to what you would normally see on a British high-tier battleship. The superstructure, 19mm, and the gun turrets get a frontal plate of 330mm, top plating of 152, two sections of sloped side plating, 229 and 178, and then the rear plating is 178mm. This is pretty normal to what you would see on a high-tier British battleship. And contrary to popular opinion at the moment, I don't find this armour particularly weak. Angled correctly, you're quite capable of tanking the majority of incoming fire. So survivability wise, the Marlborough gets 76,800 hit points. This is further reinforced by having a torpedo protection damage reduction of 23%, and further reinforced by having 5 repair parties. Big advantage of using the Andrew Cunningham captain is when you get 2 kills in a game, you actually get an extra repair party, bringing you up to a potential of 6, which can be quite strong. And so we come to the main battery. Now this is what will primarily attract players to the Marlborough. Marlborough gets 16 356mm guns, housed in 4 turrets, 2 fore and 2 aft. These 356mm guns have a very fast reload time of 22 seconds. They can rotate 180 degrees in 43.1 seconds. Now this does seem a little sluggish, and this is using grease the gears. They have a max firing range of 20.9 kilometers with a max dispersion of 250 meters. And now these guns, they have a gun sigma rating of only 1.4. These 356mm guns can fire both high explosive and armor piercing rounds. The HE rounds can inflict a max damage of 4800. They can penetrate 89mm of armor and have a 24% base fire chance. Now you can bump this up to 26% using both the signal flags. The armor piercing can inflict a max damage of 10,500. Now both of these shell types have the exact same shell speed of 757 meters per second. Now this does feel a little bit slow at times, and it can take a little bit of getting used to, but these guns very much have the shotgun effect. You are going to be firing a lot of shells at targets and expect a lot of shells to miss. It's just the simple reality of things. But, like I mentioned earlier, throw enough mud at the wall and some will stick. When it comes to secondary armament, the Marlborough gets 16 133mm guns. Now these have a relatively slow reload time of 6.7 seconds, with a base range of 7.3 kilometers. They fire high explosive shells with a max damage of 1900. They've got an 8% chance of setting the target on fire, and they can penetrate 22mm of armor, and they have a shell speed of 792 meters per second. Now, would I advise building for secondaries? I wouldn't exactly. Due to the large amount of 32mm coverage, if you're going to be getting into secondary ranges of any kind of real secondary battery ship, like German battleships that have just entered the game, the Zieten, Prinz Ruprecht, the Schlieffen, for example, you will be eaten alive having a lot of this 32mm coverage. I would advise against building for secondaries, but that's just my 2 cents. With subs still being tested in the game, the Marlborough does have access to the depth charge airstrike. 3 flights in total, 2 aircraft per attacking flight, each capable of dropping 4 bombs. Each bomb can inflict a max damage of 3000, and they have a max operation range of 10 kilometers with a reload time of 75 seconds. When it comes to AA defense, the Marlborough gets 20 40mm guns in 10 twin-mounted turrets, 54 40mm in 9 sextuple turrets, and then the 16 133mm guns, the secondary mounts, they also double up as AA mounts. All combined, they pump out a continuous average damage of 292. Now the vast majority of this is medium range AA. Marlborough can fire 4 shell explosions per flak salvo, and each is capable of a max damage of 1540. And now the max firing range of these AA guns is 6 kilometers, which equates to an AA rating of 76. Personally, I found the AA to be okay. I think the biggest advantage of Tier 9 at the moment is the amount of all Tier 9 games you will get, which equates to having no CVs in the game, which is a great bonus, especially for a battleship that relies on stealth and trying to get closer to the enemy to make these main battery guns more effective. So when it comes to maneuverability, the Marlborough gets a base speed of 31.5 knots. Now you can increase this to 33.1 when mounting the Sierra Mike signal flag. The Marlborough gets a turning circle radius of 860 meters and a rudder shift time of 13.4 seconds. Now finally, stats wise, with the full concealment build, Marlborough gets a concealment rating of 53, which equates to a surface detection range of 12.1 kilometers, and you'll be detected by enemy submarines and enemy aircraft at 9.7 kilometers. So finally, the verdict. Personally, I think the poor Sigma and accuracy on the main battery guns prevents the Marlborough from being a very good ship. But despite being very frustrated at times by wild inaccuracy and RNG just simply messing with me, I still found myself enjoying the Marlborough. All the really good games I've had so far tended to be when I found myself outnumbered on the flanks, and Marlborough's fast firing ability and simple large volume of shells downrange can be very intimidating for a pushing force. The HE, while not as powerful in terms of fire chance compared to other British high-tier battleships, still worked better than I expected. And although I wasn't able to show it in this game, when you can get close to enemy cruisers, the results can be quite scary. Is it one of the best Dockyard ships released? I would tend to say probably not. But all in all, it's a solid ship. I doubt it will be everyone's cup of tea, and I expect the doomsayers will invariably say, "Oh my god, no, not another HE spamming battleship," but based simply on its merits, it's not that bad as a lot of people make out. In any case, I hope I was able to provide you some useful information so you can decide for yourself if you are willing to add the Marlborough to your own port or not, what the grind entails, the cheapest way to get it, and if not, at least you now have an idea of what facing the Marlborough in-game will feel like. I stream live on Twitch regularly during the week, so feel free to come on over if you have any questions or simply want to hang out for some chilled out gameplay. You can see the link here on screen. I look forward to seeing you all. I'd like to thank you once again all for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more. Take a moment to check out some of my most recent videos and leave a comment below. And until the next time, keep sailing it like you stole it.